Trump's puppet, JD Vance, is a fool for doing his dirty work. Trump told Vance, "Get your waterproof eyeliner, kid. I'm sending you to Indiana." Again. I mean, I don't know exactly what he said, but it had to be something pretty close to that. Vance's bitch of a boss, Donald Trump, sent him to Indiana to meet with Republicans for the third time to try to force them to redraw the congressional maps to rig them in Donald Trump's favor ahead of upcoming elections. Texas and Missouri immediately bent to the will of Donald Trump and redrew their maps. It's been months trying to get Indiana to do the same. So what's going on?
You don't have the votes.
Is the Indiana resistance bringing the thunder? Let's get into it. Trump has been pressuring Indiana Republicans for months to redraw their maps to eliminate the only two Democrats who represent Hoosiers in D.C. But Indiana is resisting.
Common Cause Indiana here. We are at the rally to not welcome JD Vance back to Indiana.
Indiana's supposed to be MAGA country, right? Supposed to be super friendly to Trump's agenda, but you would not know that as you looked around the State House in Indianapolis on Friday. Some pretty epic protesters were ready to meet JD Vance as he visited Indianapolis for the second time in as many months.
I am so proud to be on this side, on the right side of history, standing firm with all of you.
Some phenomenal organizations like Mad Voters Indiana and Common Cause Indiana have teamed up with Indiana Democrats to lead the boots on the ground resistance to this election cheating scheme. Because Republicans can call it redistricting all they want, that's not what this is. This is blatant mid-decade cheating. And this time, Vance seemed to need some reinforcements, so he brought along with him another one of Indiana's embarrassments, U.S. Senator Jim Banks. And if you're not familiar with Banks, he's this asshole.
I was fired illegally on February 14th. Are you going to do anything to stop what's happening?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it. Wow. Yeah, that's great to hear. Why did I deserve it?
Because you seem like a clown.
We've had to deal with that smug little miscreant here in Indiana since 2010, and we're seriously sorry that he is in the U.S. Senate now. Vance has been unsuccessful on his own to get Indiana Republicans to do what Trump wants, so I guess that's why he felt the need to bring Jim Banks with him this time. Trump has been trying to get Indiana to do this for months. Back in July, he sent an invitation to Indiana Republicans, inviting them to visit the White House in August. And in between the time when the invitation was sent in July and Republicans went to the White House in August, Vance made his first visit to Indianapolis.
Guess who's here right now? JD is here, speaking with Governor Brown right now.
Let's be honest. This isn't redistricting. This is rigging. This is cheating. Do right by voters. Stand with your voters. They're the ones who elected you. And they are saying, we don't want cheaters. Don't redraw these maps.
A handful of Indiana Republican lawmakers have already said publicly they don't support calling a special session for redistricting. Indiana's congressional districts were redrawn 5 years ago after the 2020 census.
The maps were good 5 years ago. What has changed? Greed, manipulation.
When Republicans cheat the system, it's not an abstraction. It's your neighbor losing a voice.
They do not want this, but the president wants this. And the power that the president has, unfortunately, outweighs the power of the people.
And at about this time, Vance was making the media rounds, trying to justify MAGA's attempt to redraw maps in red states.
If President Trump's agenda is so popular, why do Republicans need to add additional seats to the map?
Well, first of all, Kristen, you have to ask yourself, why have Democrats gerrymandered their states aggressively over the past 10 to 20 years? Massachusetts, where 32% of the residents of Massachusetts voted for Republicans, 0 Republican federal representatives. All we're doing, frankly, is trying to make the situation a little bit more fair on a national scale. The Democrats have gerrymandered their states really aggressively.
First of all, Vance, gerrymandering is bullshit. Both parties do it, and it's bullshit. If you want to put an end to that, let's have that conversation. But now is not the time, because right now what y'all are trying to do is cheat in upcoming elections. period. It's cheating because you're scared. And if you want to do some math like you did for Massachusetts, I can do some math for Indiana. Despite the assumption that Indiana is hopelessly red, hopelessly Republican, the numbers tell a very different story. Looking at recent election data from state and federal elections, Indiana's party breakdown is about 55% Republican to 45% Democrat. And despite those numbers, Republicans already have an unbelievable advantage in the Hoosier state. Republicans make up 78% of Indiana's congressional delegation and 73% of Indiana's state legislature. How do these greedy bastards seriously want more? The people of Indiana do not support this election cheating effort, and they have a major voice on their side because despite how much Indiana sucks, it's not all bad. Mayor Pete Buttigieg came to Indianapolis in September to rally against redistricting.
The agenda of Washington Republicans is so unpopular that even here in Indiana, they are afraid of losing if they have to run on a fair map. They know that on a fair map, if they have to run on kicking thousands of Hoosiers off of Medicaid, they will lose. They know that on a fair map, if they've got to run on their record of stripping away food stamps from hungry Hoosier children, they will lose. They know that on a fair map, if they get caught taking all the money they took out of Medicaid and giving it to tax cuts for billionaires, they will lose.
Indiana Republicans, especially the governor Mike Braun, have zero identity outside of being Trump's minions. He is proudly referred to as MAGA Mike, but they are sensing what many Republicans are also sensing around the country. Trump is losing popularity at a rapid rate, and especially in Indiana, that has been particularly harmed by Trump's tariff policies, both in the agriculture and manufacturing industries. People like MAGA Mike, who have presidential hopes, are seriously trying to unhitch their wagon from Trump's dying star. In Missouri and Ohio, Democrats are fighting like hell to stop the implementation of the Trump-friendly congressional maps, and that's definitely a sign of what would come to Indiana if they eventually bowed to Trump. But the reality is, they don't have the votes. Indiana Republicans have a super majority in the Indiana state legislature. They could lose the support of dozens of Republicans and still have a simple majority to pass Trump-friendly maps. But showing how unpopular this is, that is a low hurdle that they can't even clear. Hoosiers are encouraged to keep calling, and they can go to madvoters.org for more information. So be sure to share this video with the Hoosiers in your life. We're going to be keeping an eye on this leading up to the 2026 midterms, so be sure you subscribe so you can keep an eye on Really American. Coming to you from Indiana in a sea of soybeans that we can't sell thanks to Trump's tariffs, for Really American Media, I am Corinne Straight. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you all next time.